Welcome to Stories on the Internet. Story 1. Am I in the wrong here for not showing up to work? BC, I can't work on a Wednesday. Hello. I started working at a place about a month ago, and I told them that I cannot work Wednesdays as I have a caring role that I do on the side on a Wednesday that is important. I reminded them multiple times that I can't work Wednesdays, and I always got someone to cover my shift if it was on a Wednesday. However, they keep scheduling me, so today I just didn't show up. I'm sick of having to remind them every week that I can't work Wednesdays, and now I'm risking losing my job. BC, I can't work that day. So I said it's not really my fault if you can't remember what days I can and can't do. Story 2. If I report a rideshare driver that showed up with different car and different plates, even if reporting this could get him suspended. Today I requested an Uber after getting off a long 8-hour train ride. The driver profile had a 4.92 rating and said he'd been driving for years. But when he pulled up, the car and license plate didn't match the app. It was supposed to be a red Hyundai Sonata, but it was a red Toyota Camry with a different tag. It was pouring down raining, and I had luggage, a booster seat, and my 5-year-old. I called him to ask where he was because the app said he was right in front of me. He said, "I'm right in front of you." I said, "Only car I see is a red Camry." He kept saying he was in front of me. I thought maybe I couldn't see because of all the rain and I didn't have my contacts in, so I walked over, checked the plate, and told him it didn't match. I also told him the car didn't match. He said, "This is a Hyundai Sonata." I said, "No, it's a Toyota Camry." He kept insisting. Then he told me to go ahead and put my stuff in the car. That's when I said I didn't feel safe because none of the details matched. He got a little impatient and said, "Well, we're getting soaked. Are you going to cancel?" I said yeah and walked back to the covered area. When I tried to cancel, it said I'd be charged a $13 fee. I tried to call him on the phone again to ask him if he could just cancel because they wanted to charge me a $13 fee. He did not answer the phone, so I went back to the car and knocked on window and said I wasn't paying that fee and he needed to cancel. He said, "You're the one who didn't want the ride." I told him the car and plate didn't match and that he needed to be the one to cancel. He said he would not. I said, "Man, come on, I used to drive for Uber," and just walked off. A few minutes later I saw that he finally canceled and pulled off. I want to report it and get my $13 back, but part of me feels bad because I know this could affect his income. I used to drive for Uber and I remember how helpful that income was to me. I know it was the same guy from the photo, but wrong car and wrong plate. Story 3. Sending a joke over private message to a friend and his partner found out about it and got mad. So my close friend and I work the same job, but in different location. We have been teasing each other regarding how close we are to our colleague at work, purely professional at work, nothing sexual. So her colleague happened to be opposite sex of herself. One day, her boyfriend had access to her phone and spied on our private message. He saw me teasing my friend about how close she is with her colleague at workplace and got mad at her. Asterisk note that nothing is going on between my friend and her colleague. Now I believe they are back to normal, but he is still pissed off at me, to the extent of publicly insulting and humiliating me. I feel bad for putting my close friend's relationship at risk, but am I the asshole for offending him over some tease/joke that has never been intended for him? Story 4. Am I being a jerk for losing weight for a summer trip? My whole family has gone on a summer trip every year for the past 4 years. Siblings, parents, cousins, grandparents, and my aunts and uncles on my mom's side. My aunt, 56F, for the past couple trips has repeatedly on each trip been pulling my mom aside and telling her that I, now 17F, 15F when it started, am overweight and that I should watch what I eat. Usually, she'd say things while or after us kids of the family were in the pool. For context, she really has always disliked her own body image and has gone through with multiple surgeries to reduce her weight, which I personally don't have an issue with, though she has gotten slack from multiple other people in our family for it. She tells my mom that she doesn't want me to end up like her and have to go through those mentally painful surgeries when I'm older, and that's why she keeps commenting on my weight. But I have type 1 diabetes, and the artificial insulin I have to take reacts with my cells in a way that makes it really easy to gain weight. My dad was also big boned, and I've got his genetics. I go to the endocrinologist 4 times a year just for checkups, and they take my weight. My doctor nor dietitian have had any issue with my weight. When I went to the pediatrician for some shots a couple weeks ago, the doctor told me explicitly that my weight wasn't an issue, but I should make sure I'm doing more exercise. Our family trip is only a month and a half away, and I think about my aunt's comments daily. These past few months are the first time in almost 6 years that I haven't tried to starve myself just to fix my body weight and have actually been happy with my body image. Last week I decided to start running an hour a day to try and get my weight down 10 pounds/4.5 kilograms, both because of what my doctor said and in hopes that my aunt doesn't say anything to me or about me behind my back when we see her soon. My older sibling, 21 NB, half-heartedly called me an asshole as a joke, I think, but I've been mulling over it since and I just don't know. Story 5. Am I being a jerk for not sending my 7-month-old to nursery on mother-in-law's request? For context, my pregnancy was not planned, and when my partner and I announced it, my very wealthy in-laws were so happy and said they will support us financially as we both had minimum income salaries at that point working full-time. I had to quit my job as it wasn't a safe environment for pregnancy. I did home visits as a support worker and most of my clients were heavy smokers, smoking indoors. I looked for another job, but I couldn't find any and also started struggling with severe perinatal anxiety and panic disorder. It was the most difficult time of my life. My partner continued working full-time, of course. Hence, during my whole pregnancy, they supported us financially, which we were very grateful for. We said I will return to work as soon as possible. Now 3 months postpartum, my mother-in-law is pushing me to put my baby in nursery, saying that she assumed returning to work ASAP means when the baby is 3 months old like she did too. I never said that. She put my partner in nursery at 3 months old because she wanted to. She was feeling lonely at home with the baby and decided to go to work for her own well-being, no financial constraints. Now she gave us an ultimatum. She believes both partners should contribute equally financially, so I have until September, when baby will be 7 months old, to return to work full-time. However, as I earn minimum income, I told her that my whole salary will be spent on nursery fees, which doesn't make sense. This is something I realized recently. I won't go to work to pay a stranger to look after my baby. She said that if I return to work she will cover the nursery fees, but won't pay for me to stay at home. I was shocked to hear this. I feel that she completely disrespects the contribution I bring by raising her grandson. And she would rather have him put in nursery just to see me going to work. As if raising a baby is not hard, full-time work. I told her we can't meet their condition, so we will manage independently. We plan on taking a loan to survive. There is no way I will put my baby in nursery at such a young age. My plan is to return to work once baby can walk and talk and leave him with my mother, who is very happy to come and help. Now ML keeps intruding and asking how we will manage given that I am choosing not to return to work. Story 6. Am I being a jerk for telling my best friend that she was disgusting for liking my other friend? I, 17F, have been best friends with J, 20F, for over a year. She's been there for me through everything. But things started shifting when I became close with a new friend, A, 17F. J got jealous, asking if I was replacing her. I reassured her, and A even reached out to J to clear the air. But after that, J and A started talking a lot more than I talked to either of them. Then J admitted she had feelings for A, who has a girlfriend of 4 years. And J knew that from the start. I tried to be patient, but it felt wrong. Eventually, I told A. She was respectful and told J directly, especially after seeing something on J's phone during a sleepover. J admitted again that she liked A and even said she'd wait for her and her girlfriend to break up. That was my breaking point. I told J that was messed up and that she needed to move on. She later sent me a long message saying that when I'm upset or overwhelmed, I tend to say hurtful things to her even if I don't mean to, and that it sticks with her. I snapped and replied, "That's with everyone. Don't feel too special." I know that sounds cold, but I was done. I felt like she was flipping the narrative to make herself the victim when she was the one crossing lines. Still, I feel awful now. I don't know if I went too far or if I was just saying what needed to be said. Story 7. Am I wrong for this? Is it wrong that I still have feelings for this one girl, we'll call her Blue, that I was talking to before I met my girlfriend, Green? Me and Blue, were talking and everything was going so well. We had very good chemistry and so many common interests/hobbies, but because I did something stupid, we stopped talking. My girlfriend, Green, is so faithful and she loves me a lot. I love her so much and wouldn't do anything to hurt her, Green, but lately I've been thinking about that one girl, Blue, before we met. I even had a dream about her, Blue. Nothing weird though, it was just her, Blue, in my dreams. It was so random because I stopped thinking about her, Blue, and then all of a sudden she popped up in my dreams. Ever since then, I've been trying to get her, Blue, out of my head. Her cousins said that she really liked me and they thought we were going to be a thing. She, Blue, blocked me on Insta, but I low-key made another account to look at how she's been doing. I feel guilty because I love my girlfriend, Green, but I've been having thoughts about the talking stage with that one girl, Blue, before her, Green. Am I just being disloyal or what? I wouldn't do anything to hurt my girl, Green. She means a lot to me. Story 7. Am I being a jerk for not watching a TV show episode with my friend who has feelings for me? I have this newish friend who asked me out on a date after hanging out with me a couple times. I told him I want to explore friendship with him, which he was open to. I was on my way to my university, but I had to stop by at his place to take something. I casually mentioned that I was watching this show on Netflix that he might like too. He asked me if I wanted to watch it together, and I told him that I was already on the last episode, so he should go ahead and we could discuss it when he's done. He told me he could catch up while I'm at school, and I could watch the last episode with him on my way back. My plan was to finish the last episode during my lunch break, but I agreed to wait a couple of hours to watch it with him on my way back. Some hours later, he canceled the plan because he had to be somewhere at short notice. He asked me if I could wait until next week, and I said that was too long. He then asked me if I could wait for 2 days instead, as a compromise, and that ticked me off. I practically begged him to let me finish it, and he ended up conceding, although sounding disappointed. Story 8. Was I out of line for asking that the advertisements on my fence be removed? My wife and I had a new fence installed on our property. The workmanship of the fence itself is great, straight as an arrow. The problem is after the job was finished, the owner came out and screwed 4 advertisements of his company to my fence. Mind you, he never asked if this was okay. Nowhere in the contract we signed does it say anything about these advertisements. It's a white vinyl fence, so basically, he permanently damaged my fence to do this. Well, I contacted him and asked why this was done, and his response was, "It's part of the warranty. Never in 30 years has anyone ever asked to remove the adverts. If it offends me, take them down, but that would void the warranty." It doesn't offend me, I just think it's ridiculous for him to damage someone's fence to advertise. I did eventually get the company to come remove them, but had to threaten a lawsuit before they would budge. So, ATA for asking him to remove his advertisements? Story 9. Am I acting selfishly if I said no to driving my friend around on vacation? She's staying 1 hour from me. First off, to provide some context, my friend is a content creator. My friend, her boyfriend, and I are all traveling to the US, approximate 5 days. The original plan was that we were supposed to all stay together with a friend at their house, but at the last minute, I get a text message from her that they were planning to meet up with a bunch of other creators. One of the meetups is the same day, really late at night. I have astigmatism in my eye, and I also rarely drive. My partner typically drives me to where I need to go, so I expressed my discomfort about driving really late at night, especially since we're waking up early morning that day. She understood, But the next text message was that they decided to book a hotel near the airport that would be landing in. Between where we're supposed to be originally staying and the airport is a 1-hour distance, not even considering traffic. I've spent a lot of money on this trip and took time off between my 9 to 5 job to come on this trip, which originally I thought it was just going to be a trip with all of us, but then they changed it last minute on me. Would I be the asshole for saying no? Story 10. Telling my grandma to pay me money she owed. Back in March, I loaned my grandma some money to get her car fixed, and that came out to be $325. She said she'd pay me back when she got her check at the beginning of the month, but she only coughed up $200. I told myself I would let it slide. Just last night, she broke the side of my Beats headphones, making them unwearable since the other side was already broken and taped together. The problem is that there's no audio on the side she broke. I told her she has to at least pay me $75 since I spent $155 on the headphones. She's refusing to pay me the $75, so now I am thinking about telling her she has to pay me the $125 she owes me. Would I be wrong to do this? Story 11. Am I being a jerk for falling behind on chores and asking for help? I, 19M, am living with my sister, 21F, because she lives closer to my college than our parents do, and this saves me money on board. The small house is owned by a family friend. Our parents make the payments, but my sister and I both send money to them. I send $250 a month. I think she pays a little more, but am not sure. In exchange for paying a little less, my parents suggested I do the bulk of the housework, but left that up for my sister and I to decide. It started fairly, but over time I feel like my list was added to unfairly. I should also note that sister has some illnesses, and she's a germaphobe, which I kind of get. My current daily expectations are wipe down all doorknobs and light switches, sweep the front room, dining room, and kitchen, wash dishes, she puts them away, and clean the sink, counter, stovetop, dining room table and chairs, clean the bathroom sink, toilet, tub, and mop bathroom floor, take out trash/recycling. Weekly expectations are mow the yards, mop the other rooms, replace air filters, dust blinds and clean windows, vacuum couches, clean fridge and freezer, pick up groceries. I got through finals week and then fell ill with strep throat for a solid week. I tried to get at least one of the daily tasks done each day as best as I could and fell behind on the weekly tasks. I kind of assumed I would get some help catching up, but when I didn't, I got frustrated and asked my sister to help yesterday. She got mad and said that wasn't our agreement, but did agree to pick up the groceries herself. It's now 2 days since I started feeling somewhat better, and she's extremely upset that I haven't caught up yet. I told her it would be caught up with it if she helped, and she said I'm being an inconsiderate jerk because she's been working. Parents just said honor my agreement, but weren't necessarily mad, just bothered. Story 12. I've got 4 cats, and this 5th one is a male cat, Ellie. I've seen him trying to mount his sister, which I do understand that inbreeding is a usual thing among them. It's okay, but I had a male cat before, and he didn't do anything like it. Ellie has given me the ick, sorry not sorry. The thing is we are not swimming in cash. We are saving money to spay the females ASAP. Also, don't want to deal with more pregnancies. I'm worried about my other cats, so I'm thinking of just taking him somewhere else and leaving him there. He's a street smart cat and can take care of himself. Happened before. I live with my parents and I don't want to deal with their drama about it, so I'm planning to do it when they're not around. Will I be a crappy cat parent for doing this? Story 13. I, 25M, have been dating this girl, 24F, for almost a year now. I am not athletic exactly, but I do go to gym twice a week, just to keep fit and healthy, while my GF is more of a couch potato. That said, she used to do pole dancing before, even showed me some pictures and videos from her training days, although it was more of a hobby for her as opposed to a serious sport. She mentioned a few times that she stopped due to self-esteem issues, e.g., feeling like a fat cow compared to other girls. Her words, not mine. I think she looks alright personally and has been struggling to go back for a few years. Well, recently, she started gaining interest in it again, although she decided to limit exposure to Instagram and TikTok to prevent comparisons, and I was wholly supportive of that as well as resuming her training overall. I've seen people do pole before and it looks like great exercise. Her first training session was yesterday, at home, removable pole, and I asked whether I could watch. She did say it wouldn't be pretty or professional, but I just wanted to spend time with her and maybe keep some conversation going to distract her from negative thoughts, should they appear. Well, there we were, me sitting and her remembering tricks and stuff, and she was struggling with grip strength due to a long pause, so a good number of tricks were less graceful than on her previous videos. GF is a bit disheartened by that, but I try to cheer her on, and at one point she says she want to show me a pretty move, but slips and slides down a little awkwardly, and that's where I might have been the cause I laughed. I didn't mean to, it just kinda happened, but my GF got really upset saying I was cruel to laugh cause I was just waiting to see her look stupid and laughing on the inside the whole time. I tried to smooth it over, but she wouldn't listen. Needless to say, the practice session was over then and there, and she doesn't want to talk to me much. I don't think I am entirely in the wrong cause it was completely involuntary, and I did try to fix it, but I can't really blame her for the situation either. Story 14. Am I being a jerk for not letting my brother borrow my car for his Vegas trip? So my brother, 31M, asked me, 21F, if he can use my car for his Vegas trip for my sister-in-law's 28th birthday. And honestly, I really don't want to let him borrow it. We don't even get along, and he's asking me 2 days before the trip, which is very last minute. The thing is that I can't just simply say no, or else my parents would get upset that I'm not helping me brother out since his car has mechanical issues, and he can't drive long distances with it, and they'll bring up the fact that I helped my BF borrow my car when he was carless, saving up for one. So I plan on telling him I already have plans to go out with my friends one of the days he'll be gone, which is a complete lie, but I just want to know ATA for saying no. We live in California, so the drive will be 3 to 4 hours, and they'll be gone for 4 days. Story 15. Was I out of line for uninviting my brother from my daughter's HS graduation? Me, 37, uninvited my brother, 31, from my daughter's high school graduation. For context, my family has always struggled to get along. Drama always happens at family events, and I'm trying to avoid it. The closest we live to family is 4.5 hours, and most of my family visiting for the graduation will be staying at my house. I don't have a huge home, but we'll make it work. Long story short, my brother recently got out of jail and was found not guilty BC of a technicality. Not BC, he wasn't guilty. He got hooked on some hard stuff and hadn't been making wise choices. We thought he would count his blessings and walk a straight line when he got out. But we are pretty sure he relapsed and legit thinks he's God. The drugs gave him severe psychosis. He lives with my mom and she's been hiding his mishaps. She removed all her jewelry from their home and barricades herself in her room at night. Like locks her door and pushes her tall dresser in front of it every night. I asked her why she felt he should come in my home if she herself didn't even feel comfortable with her valuables or sleeping with him in hers. Crickets. I mentioned to my mother that I didn't think he should join BC. I was afraid of what might happen. I didn't want to ruin my daughter's special moment with all her family coming in from 4 different states and her school friends. She keeps mentioning how depressed he is, especially since I haven't agreed for him to come. I told her it's not that I don't want my brother to join, but I don't think his mentality's stable, and it's not about him, period. Far more details to the story, but I'll leave it here for now. I can't help but feel a bit guilty and angry that they would even put me in the position to stand my ground. Story 16. Was I out of line for telling my friend/crush fuck you over text? I-18F was recently on a field trip, talking and yeah, all that stuff with my friends, and I was telling my friends about a song I recently was starting to like again called Lower One's Eyes, singing some of the lyrics. Kimi no Naku was the first line I sung, which is crying with you for context. And suddenly, someone who my therapist said was probably half listening, -18M, who we'll call Brad. Brad suddenly had accused me of saying the N-word. I'm half Japanese, and I don't think it's right for me to say that word. Though he was bluffing. So I was like, funny joke, but no, until he continued. Brad kept saying that I did say the N-word. Then his friend, my crush -18M, Jack, for the sake of this, started joining in on it, saying that I did say that word, even accusing me of the hard R. No one defended me, not even one of my friends, as they were too busy with their own stuff. It was loud, but that still hurt. Keep in mind this was on the bus, so I couldn't have gotten a teacher and told them about the situation. Besides, I didn't want to get them in trouble because I'd feel bad. I kept trying to defend myself before just dropping the topic in general. Though I nearly bawled my eyes out, but tried to use the window and my phone as distractions, though they still didn't stop it. I went home early therapy, and while I was in the car, I texted Jack, fuck you, as that's the only thing I honestly could think of writing, and because I had his number. Though just recently I apologized for it, yet I don't think he has read either message. I don't know if the two of them were joking or not with dark humor, so I feel bad about saying fuck you to Jack and basically ruining a somewhat healthy friendship that could have lasted a while. Story 17. Am I acting selfishly for calling the homeowner a scammer because the homeowner is unresponsive? Hello, I rented a loft-type condo for me and my friends to hang out at this Booking.com app and paid the full amount for one night because I'm the type of person to pay up front so I can budget my expenses much easier, and also the photos on the property looked good. However, the owner was unresponsive at all. I asked if there's a pool access and car park, but a week after I sent the message, there was still no reply, so I got irritated and told the owner that they must be a scammer, and to my surprise, they instantly replied, getting angry about my statement towards them about being a scammer. They then proceeded to talk about having millions, and my money is nothing but a drop compared to their wealth. I asked for a full refund, and they will not agree for it because I already paid, but I have no plans on going to their property anymore because I am sure they are going to frame me for lost items or damaged things, typical scammer moves. Should I press charges? Story 18. Am I in the wrong here for only sharing a part of a story to get the end I want? During bedtime, my 4-year-old found a few ducky stuffies and asked me, why do we have so many duckies? I had to pause and think about it a bit. Eventually, I told her, well, when you were a little baby, I called you Ducky. So we have lots of duckies. She got quiet and asked, oh, okay. What did your mom call you? Truthfully, I don't really know. I remember my mom saying she had nicknames for each one of my siblings when we were babies. Dumpling, Munchkin, and Pumpkin, but I don't know who was which. I was ready to be done with bedtime though, and she's in that phase of asking billions of questions, so I just picked one for simplicity here. My mother called me Dumpling. Can you call me Ducky? And I will call you Dumpling. I answered, yes, we can do that. Good night, Ducky. Good night, Dumpling. Since that bedtime, we've been calling each other Ducky and Dumpling. It's clear that she really loves having pet names. She keeps asking me to call her Ducky when I slip and call her by her real name. And 2, my mom died before my daughter was born, and I find this to be a sweet impromptu connection between them. However, when I recounted the bedtime interaction to my husband, his reaction was confusion. We didn't call her Ducky though. It's true that the nickname of Ducky never stuck. Her name is pretty formal, and there's a shortened version of it that is cute and has been the nickname that caught on. Think, Elizabeth, Lizzie. That said, I really wanted Ducky to be her pet name, but again, it never stuck. I did have a Ducky-themed baby shower for her. I registered for Ducky nursery art and Ducky toys and Ducky clothes, hence why we have so many, to her question. Her first Halloween, she was a Ducky. I tried to make her Ducky, but I think I'm just not good at pet names. I don't have one for my husband, and my family really didn't do that growing up. Remember that I don't remember which name I was point. So, my husband's beef with all of this is he feels like I lied to our daughter about the true relevance of the Ducky history. While he doesn't have a problem with the use of the names now, he does seem to have misgiving with how I sold it to our daughter, and I think most importantly, he's upset that I won't admit now that she was never Ducky. This seems like such a silly thing to be fighting over, but there is a bit of tension between us when Ducky requests that we use her pet name. I want to be able to keep using it. I fear that if I tell Ducky that Ducky never really stuck, that she won't like it as much and we won't use it, which would make me sad as I have always liked it. However, if I don't tell her the whole story, then there will likely always be this tension between husband and me about the pet name and how we got to it. So I think it comes down to whether or not I am TA for only sharing a part of a boring and innocuous story to get the end I want. Story 19. Am I in the wrong for supposedly cheating on my GF with an AI? I, 15M, and my girlfriend, 15F, have been dating for about 3 months. Recently, she went on vacation with her family to Mexico. After coming back, I felt that she had become too woke, which bothered me. Like, for example, she would get mad at me for innocent jokes saying it was racist or homophobic, which are words I've never even heard of. Well, my anger was getting to be a lot and I felt like I had no outlet. We didn't talk for a few days, and during that time I found an AI app that let me share my issues with her new wokeness. I felt so comforted by it, and it allowed me to speak without getting judged. After a few days without speaking, my GF got suspicious and looked through my phone to find the messages with my AI. She said the messages were disturbing and she felt as if I was cheating on her with the AI. In my opinion, she is out of her mind. Am I the asshole? Story 20. Am I in the wrong? I've been writing since the early 2000s. Not professionally. Just stories that lived in the corners of my mind, unfinished, usually. Life always ran faster than my words could keep up. My longest pieces barely crossed 30K. Most didn't make it past the middle. Not for lack of love, but for lack of time. Or clarity. Or whatever it is that makes a story keep going. Lately, I've been using AI. Feeding it my voice, my style, the themes I return to. I give it my outlines, my obsessions. And I love the way it responds. And I'm writing more than ever. I finish things. I have thousands of kudos on works no one knows were made with help. I still choose every word. But now a blank page doesn't scare me the way it used to. I know it's controversial. I know people see AI and think, fake, lazy, dishonest. And maybe it is, depending on where you stand. But it's fanfiction. No one is getting paid. No one is getting hurt. I just wanted to tell stories again. And now I can.